MG, what changed your thesis on Bitcoin? Not enough use cases in and above the store of value, and Ethereum had more use cases with a lot more development applications on top. So according to Metcalfe's law, which values a network, it's more likely to have increased network value over time than Bitcoin did. And the chart looked good, the ETH Bitcoin cross. And I like the Solana ETH cross and the Solana Bitcoin cross. I think they all end up playing out.
Raoul Pal, the founder of Real Vision and a prominent macroeconomic expert, holds a remarkably bullish outlook on cryptocurrencies, particularly ranking Solana, Ethereum, and Bitcoin in that order. He believes Solana will outperform both Ethereum and Bitcoin. However, despite his optimism for Solana's performance, Pal allocates 90% of his portfolio to Ethereum. He justifies this allocation by stating that, even though he expects Solana to perform exceptionally well, Ethereum offers the best risk-reward ratio. In his recent Ask Me Anything live stream, Pal delved into the reasons behind the relatively flat performance of Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies in recent months. He also shared his belief that the fourth quarter of this year will be the catalyst for significant developments in the crypto space. Stay tuned until the end of the video, where Pal reveals his top 3 trades and outlines his investment horizon through the end of 2025.
Quick, my views on markets and where we are. I mean, really is a summer lull right now. Everybody's on bloody holiday. Everybody on Twitter is still in... all the Americans are in Greece and Italy this year. All the Europeans are, as ever, in Spain. And the rest of the degens are in Ibiza. And it's not until, I think, European kids get back in September, and obviously we're waiting for the Labor Day holiday. So markets are just sloppy. There's nothing really going on. There's no new money around. Everybody's in the Hamptons. All of that kind of stuff is going on. So you have to be patient in summer markets. And usually, once you start getting through August, September, things start kicking off. The things that I'm looking to kick off are, as rates have been decoupling from the market. So I actually got stopped out of my bond trade. Finally, I got out of that bloody pain. It was a terrible position because bonds basically decouple from the business cycle this time around. It's nothing to do with inflation. It's actually to do with liquidity because of how the Fed are, the Treasury are issuing so many new bonds to pay the interest on the bonds because rates are so high. They're doing it in the bills market. That's draining the reverse repo, but it's still flowing through into the rest of the bond market, and yields have been rising. That whole process has started pushing the banks lower again. So I'm keeping my eye on that. My view has been, and it's not a precondition, but my view has been that we're likely to see the banks starting to fall. I'm looking at, for example, I put on Twitter, the long-term chart of Citibank looks like the cliff of death, looked like all of the European banks did. I've been looking at Bank of America, doesn't look great. And then the regional banking index, the KRE. So that would be a tipping point that would start changing the equation. What else can uncouple markets? Well, the bond yield issue in itself can uncouple markets. But what it's telling me is we're getting closer to more cowbell. That point where the Fed have to go, oh, and that happened last time, if you remember, in December 2018, when suddenly the repo market broke and the Fed was like, we're stopping QT, and we're not going to hike anymore. And then they started cutting 6-9 months later. We're in that phase, I think. Let's see what Jackson Hole has. You know, Powell still thinks he's Volcker, and it's a ridiculously different environment, but that's what they want to believe right now. So my guess is that the payback for this is, I think they're going to undershoot inflation. So I'm strongly of the opinion inflation is well below 2%, maybe even as low as 0 by the end of the year. And that's been my call for a while now. And I think core inflation goes to 0 by summer to this time next year. So I think we've got all of the inflation domino to play out from the GMI business cycle dominoes. We have, I think, a rise of unemployment will come over this period. I don't think it's going to be huge because there's some complications in the labor market as people are leaving the labor market, etc. And I think, you know, rents are coming down, all of that stuff. So what we're likely to see is the Fed going, oh my God, sorry, we've undershot, which gives them the cover to cut rates, which they need to do because they cannot pay the interest on the debt at these levels ongoing. They've got about 13 trillion of debt to roll over plus new issuance. They need to get rates lower, and they need to then monetize the interest payments. That's part of the everything code thesis, those of you who've been following along at home. So the everything code thesis suggests that Q4 is going to be when this start of action starts happening, and we don't, maybe QT stops, maybe we get a rate cut, maybe we don't, but we start flagging it, and then we start to see, I think, another leg of the economic slowdown. I think we're actually bouncing out the forward-looking indicators of ISM, all of this stuff I've been talking about in macro on Real Vision. That's where you get all the juicy stuff. So you guys watching this, most of you are pro macro subscribers, so you don't get all of the research that I put together, but we do a lot of stuff. And that's suggesting that we are going to seeing a sharp economic rebound. That was forecasted by liquidity and the GMI Financial Conditions Index. It is starting to slow down a bit because of these yields and the dollar stabilizing. And so that suggests that Q1 next year, so we might get a pickup in growth at the end of this year. Now, that won't come into GDP. GDP's lagged. Everything kind of lags in this. So GDP should be weaker in Q4. I know that the Cleveland Fed have this ridiculous 5.9% number. That'll go away. But we should see GDP low, but the forward-looking indicators, stuff like ISM, start to pick up. And then we might get another slowdown within Q1. But I think at that point, the market is more focused on the cowbell, more stimulus, etc. And then we're into the full election year, and the full election year is cowbell central, because then you've got stimulus to try and bribe the voters, rate cuts to bribe the voters, the use of the balance sheet to try and not get the Treasury to end up with ridiculous debts on their trying to issue ridiculous amounts of bonds and the market not being able to do it, and crowding out the private sector. Sorry, I'm speaking very fast because there's a lot in the everything code and I can't really get it across in a very short thing. Anyway, all to play for Q4 when it gets interesting. Everyone needs to get back from holiday, and then we can see from there. So what are your top 3 trades? John Floyd. John, my trades, I'm not a trader really. I think you've probably figured that out by now. My time horizons are very long. So for me, it is number 1 crypto over my time horizon. Let's just use this business cycle, not even going further out. Let's say over the next, into end of 2025, I think crypto is the best performing asset in the world. I think technology stocks are number 2, and number 3, tricky. Tricky could be something commodity related, copper. Let's go with copper. So that's what I think. And no, I don't think commodity prices rising in a business cycle are significantly inflationary. I know everybody gets caught up on that.
Raoul Pal, the visionary behind Real Vision, offers a captivating outlook on the bright future of Solana, Ethereum, and Bitcoin. His unique perspective, shaped by his expertise in macroeconomics, provides valuable insights as we navigate the ever-changing landscape of cryptocurrencies. Raoul's expertise is particularly noteworthy when it comes to anticipating the forthcoming developments in the fourth quarter of the year. For more Daily Dose Crypto news, check out these 2 awesome videos on your screen. Click now and we will see you on the next video.